Nice.
It's great to see you. Are you going crazy up there? Are you getting a routine?
Where did you hide Tony's body?
It's on the back. You'll see it. It's stuffed on the back of the couch. I'll show you later. I'm sorry about Buddy. You know how much I love him.
It's okay. Can you see him though? I can't tell. Can you see him?
Of course
okay?
I could see him. I thought it was stuffed at first. I was flipped out. I should have gone and got Rocket's ashes downstairs. Okay, hold on. I have, hey, hold on. One moment. Hey, Tone? Will not be outdone.
There we go. I'm
Oh, you can see it there?
Oh,
Thanks, you guys. All right. I hate Zoom. Oh, you can't hear me. All right. We're going to go now. All right. What we're going to do, did I start the recording? I did. We're going to get to the Facebook. I have it as set up as you can. I'm going to put you guys on a back view until I introduce you. Oh, I didn't. That's okay. Am I on? Okay. Hi, Tone. Oh, this is the first time.
Hi, Tony! He's like, he wants no part of this nonsense. Oh, she's being competitive.
Oh.
I said that, but you didn't hear me because I had the earphones in. All right. Let's get this party started. It'll take a second or two because it's technology.
Should we have earphones in too?
No, because I don't have a dual hookup.
Oh, all right. He's controlling me.
We're going to get set up on the .com to my timeline.
Oh, are we supposed to go live on my timeline too? Am I supposed
If you
to
want to
doing
share
something?
it, that'd be great. If you want to share it as soon as we go live, that'd be awesome.
How do I do that?
Look at your look at my Facebook page and just share it when it comes up.
Okay. Do you want to do it too?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
that'd be
can't.
great if you guys could. And we
Okay.
get, I wish this could be set up faster, but it's just how it is. Okay.
So when we go live, it's going to appear on your page. And
Right now
share.
we're on live on Facebook, Bernadette Pauley, so you can just start sharing. It'll take about a 30-second delay, but let me do a little intro here.
Okay.
Hello out there, my cherubs. I don't know why it's not showing me, but who the hell knows why? I hate technology. Let me see if it's showing up the way I want it to. Every day it's another nightmare on Facebook. So we're streaming live on Facebook. I'm wondering, yep, you can see me, it's highlighted. All right, you guys, we're gonna do some emotional day drinking today. A little business out of the way. Stefan, Mike, Gwen, thank you for supporting the show. You guys know every day, Monday through Friday, 3 o'clock Eastern time, I bring you the best buddies in the world, great comics, take you behind the scenes. We have a great time. I want to thank this week's sponsor, Bitten by a Zebra. The owner of that company is Bob Johnson, and he does graphics and web design and photography. So thank you. And if any of you are interested in sponsoring Hanging with Langan, just email me on the .com, molangan.com, or right here on Facebook. You can also, I have the connection down there at paypal.me/molangan and Venmo @molangan. You can go to my Facebook page. Please share it. I have a watch party. I'm going to share it right now to my group, Hanging with Langan. Here we go. And you know, in a moment or two, I'm going to introduce you to my 2 comedy buddies. I love them. They're talking and figuring out their technology behind us. It doesn't matter. God has a plan. Wish he had a better party planner. So today we're going to talk wine with my 2 wino friends, and we're bringing in this sommelier, who the Wine Minx, Annie Edgerton, fun wine gal, and she's going to talk to us about 20 bottles under $20, because you know right now times are tough and everybody's emotionally drinking. And so you guys, without further ado, if I may, are you guys set back there? Let me introduce yes. Let me introduce my
Yes.
friends with whom I have done a ton of emotional drinking. When I got unmarried, many a night crying on their couch. That's all right, they loved me. And so this is all insane. So to the in the blonde hair, newly colored, I believe, by her spouse, we have Bernadette Pauley, everybody from the Boston area, abroad.
Cheers.
Yes, my comrade. Cheers. How big is this glass? Cheers, my dears.
Cheers, Mom.
And we have Al Ducharme. You know him from the Netflix show F is for Family. He is the voice of Anthony Bonfiglio. I don't know how you say it.
Bonfiglio. Bonfiglio.
Can you please say it in Anthony's voice that you welcome us and have a nice time drinking wine?
You know what? No.
I ate a worm. I cut it in half. It had eyes. I watched. All right, you guys. How have you, before I bring in the wine minx so we can do our emotional drinking, how are you guys doing?
Happy pandemic. We're doing okay. We're hanging tough. You know, we have friends and neighbors who are doing this solo, and they keep telling me how lucky I am to be able to do this with somebody. Overrated.
Did you really dye her hair?
He did the roots.
I did the roots.
Which it's not like mega blonde, but it's not like a skunk like it used to be.
Yeah, she looked like a skunk, and I blended it a bit.
But we may train him to do highlights, Mo.
Oh, very well.
And I was drinking wine during the whole process.
Mo, I had a very rough day yesterday. I had a rough day. I just want you to know. Like, it's like this in the pandemic, like this. And yesterday, the behavior of people and this thing bringing out the worst in people and the best in people, sometimes it just gets to you.
Did you see the uprising in Texas, comrade? There was a bar that opened and 6 people from Open Texas, these guys with guns and like flak jackets, protected the bar. Like we're in the Civil War, just so you know, comrade.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. Yeah, that's not my team. But
No,
it's just, or when you look at the goodness in people and these nurses and doctors and what they're doing versus the selfishness and the despicable behavior and people, I just can't, it's just one extreme or the other, and it just gets to you.
But we have wine.
But we have wine.
I'm telling you, when they said the wine sales went up, I'm like, it wasn't just me. Now, you guys, when I do this, it's a commercial break. It's a commercial break. Hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want my t-shirts, they're called Don't Make Me Hate You, because I'm a t-shirt saleswoman. And that's at molangan.com. $25, like $2 for shipping. And that's product oh, I dropped my product placement. Can you see my product placement t-shirt over there?
Yes.
I do.
And I see you have some product placement. Your beloved buddy, my Maxie and buddy were best friends when they saw each other.
They were.
The taxidermist left about 20 minutes ago, and I thought he did a fine job.
You know what? When you first showed me that, I honestly thought you had Buddy stuffed. We miss you, Buddy. I miss you, Buddy. We love you. All right,
Our friend Melissa Lewis had that pillow made for us, and she also introduced us to one of the wines we're going to talk about.
Okay, well, she's better than me, so that's good. Is that what you're trying to say? I didn't get you a stuffed Buddy animal. I don't see a stuffed Maxie animal. So, you know what, you guys, those of you who are listening, if you want to weigh in or have a comment or a question for the Wine Minx, she's going to, lower the Facebook, Maureen Langan.
I do have a question. I have a question.
Yes.
When can we take our first sip?
Hey, we said cheers. Let's do it.
Oh, okay. One more
Wine
time.
waits for
Cheers.
no one. Love you guys.
Love you more.
All right, so let's bring her in. Her name is Annie Edgerton. Let me find her because this is the .com. Did we lose her? No, we didn't. All right, we're going to take her off. I hate this so much.
Annie, get your gun.
All right, her name is Annie Edgerton. She is a sommelier. Nobody knows how to say that. We're going to find out. She is called the Wine Minx, and she's going to give us 20 bottles under $20. We'll get as far as we can with it. Annie, thank you for being with us.
Welcome, Annie.
I like to say sommelier.
Sommelier. All right, very good, very good. You are the Wine Minx. I love that name.
You know, it's funny because I trademarked that name, but persona for myself long before I had any idea what I was going to do with it. And I'm so glad I did.
Well, our mutual friend Lonnie Newman, who's a television producer who we both worked with and we love her, but I told her she has to love me more, but she says we're both fighting over. No, she
Well,
doesn't
you're
love
the
both of us.
OG daughter. You know, you're the first. You're the older child, the established first child. I'm the
Yeah, but the second's always more loved. So let me ask you this: we're going to talk. These are my friends Bernadette Pauley and Al Ducharme. Great comedians. They're my buddies. I mean, you know, many a night crying on their couch, drinking too much wine, sleeping on the air mattress, almost dying from carbon monoxide poisoning because Bernie's pretty. Yeah, because she's pretty. So the fire guys were like, okay, little lady, you're fine. And then the next night I sleep over, I open a window because it's so hot and I save our lives. Is that not true?
Oh,
Saved our lives. You're the reason why we're here during the pandemic. Thank you.
But Maureen was like, Bernie, we could die. And I was like,
She was like, those guys didn't trust me. I told them. And Al, so you know, Annie, he is the voice of Anthony on Netflix's show F is for Family.
ooh.
Yes. So I do hope that,
Pays the electric bill.
I do hope that at times he will break into voice.
Have a good voice.
All right. So we want to see.
Cheers, by the way, cheers, everybody.
Cheers, Annie.
Cheers.
We're day drinking together separately.
Emotional day drinking. So you're going to do whites and reds for us today?
Well, yeah, you know, it's funny because my most popular blog post, I blog very irregularly, but my most popular one is always my top 20 under 20. But it takes me a year to do it. So I don't know if I have 20 lined up.
We'll do a few. We'll do a few. We'll have you back to do more another time. Absolutely.
The thing is that I always say, don't drink the junk on the bottom shelf of the grocery store because it's made poorly. That's the simple thing. It's cheap.
There we go. But she likes the goat wine at Trader Joe's. It's the bottom. She always goes, Maureen, get me the goat wine.
I love the rosé, $5.99.
Is that goat's drink?
But I'm sorry, you might want to throw me out.
No, the Trader Joe's is a little different because they do a lot of direct import. They hand pick a lot of their wines, and that's why they can afford to sell them to you so cheaply, because they're kind of cutting out a middleman with our crazy American 3-tier system.
Oh, okay.
She loves that. She went to school. She's a Marxist. She went to school in Switzerland and forgot her working class roots. So she likes that.
They also cut out Instacart. They can't have Instacart people come in there because there's not enough profit margin, I guess.
Trader Joe's, you can't order Trader Joe's on a third party because they're already at rock bottom prices for proletariats like us, but I digress.
But can I just tell you something, Annie, before we get to even one bottle of wine? When the Trader Joe's dude, God rest his soul, died a few months ago, he said he created it because he wanted people with taste, like musicians and artists and creative people, to be able to afford good cheese and good wine. Our kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he sold it for $40 million.
Yeah.
As long as we can still afford it, I'm okay with that. Let them do their business. Well, what I have in my glass right now, I'll just tell you. Now, I'm in New York City, and I sourced most of my wines from a local, large, not a chain, but a well-stocked, nerdy wine store. And you can find them in every region. I think you guys are on the West Coast. Maybe some viewers are on the West Coast. I know K&L Wine Merchants is out there. So if you look for a store that's a bigger size, but they're kind of nerdy about their stuff.
K&L?
K&L Wine Merchants. I think they're in San Francisco area, but I think they might be around California. I don't know about that.
You said nerdy, or do you mean snooty, or both?
You mean nerdy?
No, very big difference between nerdy and snooty. Yes, snooty, no. I can't, my blood boils when people are jerks in the wine world. They shouldn't be. And there's really no room for that. And you can know nothing about it. And if you talk to a nerdy person like myself, I can help you find something that you'll like. Even if you don't know how to describe it, I'll get you there.
We like her, don't we, Al?
We do.
Cheers. Cheers to the nerd redhead. We love her.
I have to ask you, Bernadette, what's in your glass? What are you guys drinking?
Our buddy, this might be a little over $20, but we think it tastes like a really, our good friend Melissa Lewis introduced us to, tell me if you know it, Bonanza.
Mm.
Bonanza is the stepchild of Camus, which is a big wine, overpriced. It's wonderful wine, but this is
I don't really like it.
This is the stepchild.
Yes.
To,
And if you decant it for like 2 full hours, it's a different animal, and it tastes like off the hook good.
But you are slightly above the $20 marker.
You know, but anything that delivers bang for the buck, that's cool. I like the $20 price point. I've actually raised it to $25 because if you can go to like, if you're gonna spend 20, spend 23 because that range between 20 and 25 is like huge. But for the sake of this, I'm drinking right now a white Rioja.
I don't know those. I don't know the white Riojas.
This is a crazy thing.
I used to live next door.
I don't know what kind of neighborhood you live in.
They're in Los Angeles. You're in New York. I'm from New York, but I'm out in California to take care of my Sicilian lover to make sure he doesn't die in this pandemic. Okay. I don't want him to be a stuffed animal in the back of the couch, you know?
Sicily, I went to Sicily a couple of years ago. Their wine, so good.
Right.
So good. Not $20 most of it, but so good. But anyway, yes. So crazy enough, the old world countries like Spain, Italy, label their wines with the place, like Rioja. Where is it? Right there, Rioja.
Hard to see.
New World, it's hard to see because I think I'm so glary, you're not going to see. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we go. Real what?
Rioja.
No, but real what? Rubio?
Oh, the name of this is Real Rubio. Real Rubio.
Right.
And yes, Viñedos Real Rubio. So that's the producer. I paid $12 for this.
Look at the
good. It's so good. It's delicious. But when old world wines, like I was saying, label by the place that it comes from, and new world wines like Australia and America label the grape variety. You don't know what grape is in here, but it's probably Viura, which is a main grape of Spain, a white grape of Spain. But it doesn't matter because you just have to kind of like experiment always. I always say that, experiment.
So are you serving that chill?
I had my hand up first. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I have my hand up first.
I do serve it chilled. Marie, we'll get to you in one moment. Most Americans serve their white wines too cold and their red wines too hot.
Ooh, very good.
So I always say take a white wine out of the fridge 10 to 15 minutes before you pop it, and put a red wine in the fridge 10 to 15 minutes before you pop it.
Repeat that? Oh, so you said take the white out 15 minutes before you want to drink it, and put the red in 15 before you do want to drink it. Very good. And say you don't finish the bottle.
No microwave. No microwaving.
No. And say perhaps on that rare occasion there's some leftover red, just in case. I've never experienced it. What do you do? Do you leave that out in a cool place, or you put it in the refrigerator?
I keep hearing about this leftover wine, and I don't know what that is.
Nobody does.
Let me explain something.
If you have,
go ahead.
If you have some left over in your bottle, you know how you see the winey people swirling, right? Before we, what we're doing is we're aerating the wine because there's a nice healthy relationship that oxygen and wine can have. But if you let it have too much of a relationship, it becomes abusive, and the oxygen is wine. So what we want to do is we want to minimize oxygenation of your wine if you want to preserve it for longer. So any wine, white, red, pink, whatever, purple, put the cork in it, stick it in the fridge. That's step one. If you have one of those little pumpers, pump the air out and then put the cork in it and stick it in the fridge. They also sell things, a company called Private Preserve, I know, is one where you put in some inert gas. Same idea. It's heavier than oxygen, so it pushes the oxygen out. Cork it, put it in the fridge. And if you're really moneyed and you don't care about spending for a cool gadget, you can use a thing called a Coravin, which doesn't even take the cork out. You put a needle in the wine and pour it out that way, and therefore oxygen won't touch it.
All right, let me introduce who we're here with. Hold on. It's insane here. We're with my friends Bernadette Pauley, Al Ducharme, comedians from Los Angeles, my good buddies. We love wine. Al, you know him for the voice of Anthony on F is for Family. And you know Bernadette Pauley because she's a comrade in arms. She's part of the uprising, and she's a hysterical comedian and a broad from Boston. And we have the Wine Minx, Annie Edgerton, coming to us from New York, sharing different wines for us. She has a lot under the price of 20. If we let her, she might get to 2 today. And I brought, because Bernie and Al have their a pillow of their dead dog, Buddy, who we love so much.
There he
I
is,
thought-
right there.
for the first time since Rocket died in January, I've seen his ashes. So this is Rocket Man, my rescue, who I had for a year. And that's it. So there we are. That's insane. But I love that you're here. Oh, and if you want to support the show, Hanging with Langan, every day, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern time, I bring you great people. Please go to PayPal. You'll see it up there under my, my face, PayPal, Mo Langan, and Venmo at Mo Langan. It's all for free for you guys, but this is what I do now for a living. Combine my talk show and broadcasting experience with the comedy. Okay, end of commercial. There we go. Back to you, Annie Edgerton, Wine Minx.
Well, I just love that you have a belt because I have mine that I raised at the top to support all of the workers, essential workers.
Oh, I'm an essential worker, and I have, look, a matching wine glass. This is all from like 1940. All right.
Yes.
For Sicilian's mother. All right. So back to.
Can I just add on to our little gadgets? We have this little guy right here. His name is Bob, and he's kind of like a rubbery texture. And we find this very handy. I think it's like $4.99. And it will preserve your wine overnight if you're having trouble getting through that 3rd bottle.
Well, that again is the case. You want a bob or any kind of stopper to minimize oxygen after it's been opened. The biggest killer to wine before you open it is heat, and the biggest killer to wine after you open it is oxygen. So we want to try.
All right, good to know. Good to know. They're all watching. This is great. Hi, you guys. Go ahead, Annie. We're gonna let you finish a sentence.
If you pick up one pearl, that's cool. I drop lots of pearls.
All right, so you were talking about, now I don't know Spanish wines well, and like you said, who knows what grape is in it, because they talk about the region from which they come. So I guess it's just like a hit or miss. So you just got to try different ones and see what you like.
I think everybody should behave that way no matter what is on the label. You have to experiment. If you drink the same thing all the time, that's safe and it's boring. And nobody wants to be boring, I hope.
I know, but sometimes you try something new and you're like, this was so sad. I should have stayed with my best friend.
Well, in that case, at least pay attention to what it was about that wine that you didn't like.
Ah, very good, very good.
Maybe it was too acidic.
Maybe it was Pinot Noir.
Maybe it was X, maybe it was Y. But
I
then
like
when you go into a wine store or a restaurant, when we get to do that again, you can say, you know what, I had this Pinot Noir and I didn't like it.
Right. I like the French ones, yeah. I don't like the California ones.
It's like dating. When you realize what you don't like in someone, make note and avoid it for the next time.
I was going to make a bad joke, but I love Al. And I was going to say, then settle for whoever you find. But Al's the best. I love Al.
I can handle it.
Well, that is the beautiful thing about wine, is that you can go on a different date every day. So
I have been dating a lot.
So have I.
Sometimes it's menage a trois in one day. It doesn't, it's 2 or 3. Okay.
Well, and none of the wines care if you're just seeing 2 at once.
So Wine Minx, you recommended real Rubio, is that what you recommended? It's
Rubio,
Red
white
Rubio.
Rioja. Yes.
A white Rioja, very good.
The reason I like a white Rioja is it's not going to have the stuff that turns a lot of people off. It's not that oaky, buttery style of Chardonnay,
I kind of like
but it's not wimpy Pinot Grigio.
Wimpy.
This has a lot of citrus, a lot of like straw kind of savory element.
Is it similar to like a Sauvignon Blanc type of?
This one actually has a great deal of acidity. When we talk about wine, we have to talk about the structure and the flavors. And
yes, please.
That highly structured, tart and tangy, high acid white.
All right.
Sauvignon Blanc, it's probably because it's like that. You probably like gin and tonics.
Yeah. Maureen Langan likes a full, because I drink so much full red, when I do drink a white, I do tend to like a very full, because my mouth is used to the very full.
Yeah.
Can I,
All
I'm
right.
getting a
Leave that
question.
one alone. I could have made a good joke there.
I know what you did, you dirty dog. Question, Wine Minx. Somebody's asking me, he cracks me up because he's on such a budget. He's asking, the jugs of Carlo Rossi. Is there ever a time a jug, a box? No, Bob.
No, it's so funny because Carlo Rossi Pink Chablis was the very first wine I got drunk on when I was like 16.
And threw up on? Is that what you're saying?
I didn't throw up on it, but listen.
Chicken pot pie for everybody.
That definitely falls into the category of mass-produced and not well-made. You can have cheap and cheerful wine that is made quality and with an eye to quality. But when you get these really mass-produced wines, in order to make them so cheap, they harvest all the grapes at once. So maybe they're ripe or not ripe, overripe or rotten.
Rotten.
And so
you
they
get rotten, Bob.
And they got to add all this chemicals and junk so that it tastes palatable. So avoid those big mass market ones. But
what would be the least expensive one, the most affordable one that you would say is just okay, just do it? You can get away with it.
Thinking about a lot of people, maybe a lot of your viewers in places where they do sell wine at the grocery stores. I really like the series by Charles Smith from Washington State.
Oh.
Every time I'm also a performer, and every time I do a regional theater gig and I like go to Indiana, I know they're gonna have these wines there. They're very graphic black and white labels, and it's like Eve Chardonnay, Boom Boom Syrah.
Boom Boom.
Yeah, Boom Boom. I forget the Merlot one, but they have all of the grape varieties you've heard of, and they're really great quality at a good price point, and they're pretty widely available.
Right.
But I will say boxed wines are not horrible necessarily. And the black box series I've found to be pretty good. You can spend like, like 35, 32 bucks. And that's like a $10, $11, $12 bottle per bottle, because you get 4 bottles in the box.
Oh, boxed wine. There you go, Carlo Rossi, Bob. Get the boxed wine from the Wine Minx. So do you think, Bernie and Al, we could let the Wine Minx, perhaps we should let her share another one with us, a second one?
Sure. Can we just mention another wine that's one of our favorites now? Just throw it in there in the mix. Your friend, Maureen, you introduced us to Megan, who lives up by you there.
What did I introduce you to? St. Francis? Were they?
Megan.
Oh, Megan Connington, yes.
Yeah, she served us a Hannah wine, which is, we found in Trader Joe's. I think it's around $12. And we're big fans of that.
We love it.
And that winery is up there by the Russian River, the Hannah winery. But that one is very well priced.
She hates it. Look at her face. She hates it.
Oh, you're not a fan?
Oh no, I don't know Hannah.
Oh, try. I want to know what you think. I want your opinion.
And this is, in particular, it's the white.
It's a Sauvignon Blanc.
It's a Sauvignon Blanc.
Maureen doesn't like Sauvignon Blancs. I'm going to share Wine Minx after you do your second. I have a couple that I like to share because I feel that they're really delicious.
Great. Well, one of the ones that I don't have a bottle of with me, but is the house wine. I work in the wine appraisal and consultation business with my father, who got me into wine. And
oh my God.
Yeah,
we got my father into rehab. Okay.
Mine enabled me to be mine taught me to drink for my job. He loves the J. Laura Chardonnay. That he buys it by the multiple cases, and in some places it can be a little pricier, but it can be around $10. And if you like a bigger style Chardonnay, check out.
Oh, Chardonnay! I really love the Paso Robles region in California. That's where my favorite wines tend to come from. And if I'm going to drink Pinot Noir, I tend to have French, but you have to turn me on to more of those. Maybe not today, of the Pinot from France, but the Willamette Valley in Oregon. I find I did a comedy gig in Oregon, right over the border of California. And when I was at this gig, they would not sell California wine. So all they had at the restaurant were wines from Oregon. which I probably wouldn't have exposed myself to several, a number of them. And it was great. Then on the way back to California, the police stop you and they're looking to see if you have fruit in your car. There's like literally a police checkpoint to make sure you don't have fruit. I mean, I could have had Mexicans in the trunk, but fruit, no. All right, let's get to a second bottle with you, Wine Minx. It's insane.
Well, from you just saying immediately that you like bigger, bolder reds and you don't really like Sauvignon Blanc, the reason you don't like Pinot Noir is because it's high acid. You don't want a wine with that bracing tartness to it.
I don't.
Unless you're eating Stilton cheese.
I don't
A
like
nice,
that.
good, strong Stilton. You need something to cut through it, my opinion.
Well, I love acid. There's acid in every wine, but there's differing levels. It's a balance.
Right.
So people I find tend to have negative reactions to elements in wine that aren't the flavor profile, that are more the structural.
Okay.
They don't
Allergies. I'll be right back. Go ahead. Okay.
Like some people don't like very tannic red wines. Tannin doesn't have a flavor. It's like black tea mouth drying. Who put a sock on my tongue?
Right. Socks.
So some people love that and some people hate it.
Some want them in their mouth. They get into sexual things that I'm not into. All right, go ahead.
Well, wine is about playing in your mouth. So,
I told you.
I didn't do that when you were sipping.
That was my spit take.
Spit take. So let's see. I pulled out so I said the J-Lo Chardonnay. I'm gonna say rosé. There's so much good rosé out there. Don't drink the crap rosé though. There's a lot of generic crap rosé. Drink something from a cool grape variety. And the reason I'm touting rosé is because it's the best of both worlds. It is a red wine in a white wine's body.
Okay, good. Talk about that because I've tried to get into the Sicilian, and I have. He likes rosés, but I haven't had enough to find the. They seem too light for me. So tell me one that's fuller that I can try.
Again, want something for you.
Yes, please.
Who wants a oomphier style of wine? You're gonna look for. So. Simple housekeeping, because a lot of people don't really get this concept. If you think about green table grapes and like red table grapes, and you cut them in half and you squeeze out the juice is the same, right? It's clear. The only reason red wines are red is because that grape juice has contact with their red skins. So if you give a red wine and you squish it and you only give it a little bit of contact with the skins, that's why it's pink.
So how do we get a fuller tasting one? What would I have?
It's like an interracial red.
Yeah, and you're not allowed to say red skin anymore, just so you know. All right.
Well, it's not one word, it's two. You are gonna want to then get a rosé wine made from a powerful grape. I would look at Italian rosés. There are so many, and they will be deeply hued, but the color of the rosé doesn't always tell you what the flavor is going to be like.
Right, that's right.
This one I love. This is from the Finger Lakes. This is the Anthony Road rosé.
That's the
right
middle finger lake.
Right in front of your boobs. There we go. Anthony Road Rosé of Cabernet Franc. Anthony Rose. Okay.
This is a fabulous Finger Lakes winery. I visited up there, and they actually come to the Union Square Farmers Market,
in Manhattan.
So I buy it locally. And this is under 20 also, by the way. This is like a 15, 16, maybe dollar bottle of wine. And Cabernet Franc can make a really juicy rosé.
Funny.
So,
shall I show one or two that I like quickly?
Yes, please do.
Now, these are Trader Joe's. Listen, I love St. Francis Winery. We've been there. I really love that winery very much. I tend to love the Paso Robles region. I don't know how to, I like the Justin cab, very full. I like DUAO, DOAU, Dua, Dawa, Dow, I don't know. Let me show you a couple things I like quickly. I found this table wine. These are things I found at Trader Joe's. I'll start with a doable table wine. It's a Montepulciano. I don't even know how to say it. It's La Garcia. Here. Can you see that?
La Garcia.
Oh, yeah.
It's Italian. It's $12.99, and I am blown away about how good it is, because Montepulcianos tend to be a little too tad light for me, and this is gorgeous. This is my new go-to, $12.99 Chalk Hill Sonoma. Granted, it's 2018, but a Grand Reserve Cabernet. Loving this. Are you
I've
seeing
had,
that?
yeah, I've had both of those.
Great.
I
Gorgeous.
enjoyed them.
And one more, and then I'll shut up. The other one I want, it was a half price at a market. It was a $40 bottle. It's Ravenswood, which I don't tend to love, but it's Rancho Salina 2012 from Sonoma.
Is
Look
it
at
their Zinfandel, yeah?
No, it's a cab.
Oh, it's a cab or a blend?
It's a blend. No, it's Cabernet Sauvignon and Cab Franc and 5% Merlot. I am loving this. It's very full and very gorgeous. I don't know if anybody can see this because I don't know how this.
Yeah, I use that on my tires. It's better than Armor All.
So I like those. Those are my choices. Any thoughts on those Wine Minx?
Yes. So first of all, Montepulciano is a great wine that I think I recommend to people when you want a crowd pleaser.
Yes, I
Because
agree.
It doesn't tend to be too highly structured or too crazy flavored. So like you said, some of them are too light for you, but if you were going to bring something to a party and you didn't know what people
please everyone.
bring one of those.
Yes.
That's fabulous. And I think another, the other two, the Ravenswood and the Chalk Hill, really reputable, solid producers. And listen, everybody wants you to buy their wine. People are making some esoteric things on the fringes, but they want to make a wine that people want to drink. So it's really about pinpointing your own preferences and figuring out how to translate what goes on in your head when you taste it to someone who's, serving you, so you can get them to recommend things that you want to taste. So you, obviously, we already know this. You like big and bold, plush mouthfeel.
So doesn't Bernadette.
Big and full. Bernadette likes that too, is what he's saying.
So,
but you know what, too, I've wanted to take it down a notch just a bit because the Sicilian likes a little bit more mid-range. So I'm trying to take it to like the 3/4. If he likes at 50 and I like at 100, I'm trying to do 75, which is why I think this Montepulciano, it's a bit fuller than mid. And it's, all right. Anyway.
You know what you should also try is the normal Rioja, the red Rioja, which is made from Tempranillo grape.
Yes. So,
yeah.
So you want me to try what? The Tempranillo? What?
Just if you say a Rioja, I mean, I'm drinking a white one. That's much less common. If you just say Rioja to most people, they're going to assume red. And that's made from Tempranillo. And that's a great split the diff.
Split the diff.
I love Rioja and a Montepulciano over the majority of these big, bold Cabernets or something. Like, I'm so happy with Rioja and the Tempranillo and the Montepulciano family. Because I usually do whites or rosé.
Do you also like a Malbec?
Yes.
I do. Of course, with red meat, obviously, a good steak. But I can also handle.
In the middle. Come on. There we go. Come back in the middle. You're two here. There we go, Al. Oh.
I can't see it because it got small. Talk for a second.
Well, sometimes that happens when it goes in the water.
Yeah, solid. Yeah. So, people who like the mid-range, Merlot got a bad rap from a stupid indie film.
Sideways, Sideways.
You guys don't even know this 2003 Alexander Payne movie greatly affected global wine sales and still has the echo. And it's because there was a lot of junky Merlot out on the market, which is why I made fun of it. But now, like really good Merlot is so great for those people who want to split the diff because it can be plush and big and fruit forward, but also very velvety and smooth.
Which Merlots would you recommend, Wine Minx? Annie Edgerton?
I love a good Swanson Merlot. That's kind of like, you're going to spend a few dollars more than my, cheap and
that's
like
fine.
20, maybe like about 22, 25, 27 bucks. But Swanson Merlot is like so gorge. And you said something about 2018. Don't shy away from vintage. You want your big and bold reds to have a couple of years because otherwise they're going to be too punching you in the face, and you want a good, healthy relationship with them. So
but this is 218, the one I told you about. You said that's fine. The Grand Reserve from Trader Joe's Cabernet, Chalk Hill.
Most white wines, you want to look for a more recent vintage. So it's 2020 right now. Obviously, we haven't harvested this year's grapes. 2019 is still even a little early.
For white?
You're going to see some like 2018, 2019 out there. That's what we're going to drink in whites. And reds, you can drink back to like 2014. and they've been aging in oak up until now.
Oh yeah, I'm digging that.
So red wine is like a woman. You want one with a few years in her. Otherwise, why bother?
Not if you're rich.
Let me ask you now, Annie, is this is the Camus
Yes.
Grand Reserve?
Special selection.
Special selection. It's a 2012. Is this ready or?
Annie, I'm sorry. He's trying to show off. I'm mortified.
Listen,
Mortified.
No, it was a gift. It was a gift. Should I drink it now or should I wait?
well, has it been sitting out there? It's just been sitting out there on the table this whole time?
You got it,
No,
Annie.
hold on. It's been in my wine rack on the lower level, so the temperature is about 5 degrees cooler.
Okay.
Ray almost died from carbon monoxide poisoning on the air mattress in there.
Okay. Is it ruined?
Gotten through the cork. I always say this, when I said before, temperature will kill even variations, right? If you have like the AC blasting for a week and then you go out of town for a week and you don't have the AC on, that's not good. So
it's ruined.
It's red wines do have built-in.
I don't have a wine cellar.
That's okay. If somebody gives you a really nice bottle from now on, whether it's red, white, sparkling, whatever, put it in your fridge. Better have it be protected by constant cool temperature than be subjected to this.
Oh,
okay.
Good to know.
And
then you
to the fridge.
I also say, don't save it for a special occasion. Pop that thing on a Tuesday with some pizza.
I don't waste it on people.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a pandemic.
Especially now. What are you waiting for? Yeah.
Well,
So
I'm not going to waste it on someone who doesn't appreciate the big bold reds.
Well, listen,
I'll come visit.
It's been
Come on down, Mo. Come on down.
I would love it. Annie?
Yeah.
So you were saying that the whites should age longer than the reds in general in your home, or what were you saying?
No,
Repeat
the
that.
reds.
Reds actually have properties
That's
inside them that are a little bit more preservative. So reds do age longer than whites.
Well, that's what I thought, but I didn't know what you said about the white. That's why I got confused.
There's actually some whites that can age like table wines that can age an obscenely long amount of time. But generally, most Americans buy wine to drink that day. Most of us don't buy wine to store. So if you go into your wine store and you pick up a bottle of wine to drink today and it's a white wine and it says 2012, put that thing back on the shelf. That's been sitting there in that wine store way too long.
Okay, see, I misunderstood, because I always know that red ages and that's supposedly, of course, better. So I misunderstood what you said. So you're like, get that red wine, the white wine closer to the date that it is.
Yeah, white wines you're going to want to drink with a more recent date. Red wines you can drink with a slightly long, older date.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I have some wines in my wine fridge. I have more cubic square feet dedicated to wine than I do to food in my house.
Of course.
But
of course.
I have some reds from the 90s still that probably haven't even peaked yet. So
we'll be at your house when they peak. All right, Wine Minx, just so if you're tuning in just now, we're talking to Annie Edgerton. She is a sommelier, and my buddies from Los Angeles, Bernadette Pauley, Al Ducharme, they're comedians.
We're participating in this because we're drinkers and semi-experts.
Well, we have always had fun wine hanging out with you guys, and I miss you. It's been way too long. Annie, why don't we let you get to a second bottle? Do you have a second? Oh, you showed all of us? You were done?
No, I've been making lots of suggestions. I'll keep going.
Annie, can I ask you, have you ever stomped on grapes? Have you ever?
Yes.
Yes, I knew it. I knew it.
Oh, it was not like I wasn't actually working in the winery, but I visited Napa Valley and Gurgitch Hills right around harvest, had a little vat that you could stomp on if you wanted to. And it is the squishiest thing.
My stomach might be the squishiest thing. Okay.
I've done it, but we did it the white trash way. We had some ruby red grapes delivered, and then we put it in a giant Coleman cooler, with the big lid, and then we just got in there with our. I left my sneakers on, but
No.
No, everybody had athlete's foot mouth. It was horrible.
He's joking with you. Ignore him.
I've been drinking.
Well, the funniest thing is that, we all like remember Lucy, I Love Lucy.
And Ethel,
walking
yeah.
around, in the grapes. But the funniest thing is that the human foot actually exerts the right amount of pressure, yet it won't split open the seeds, which you don't want because that adds too much tannin.
Ah.
That's
But what
why-
if you're fat?
So yeah, Timberlands are out, barefoot is in.
I want to know, so you're a wine appraiser. So do you go to people's collections and they say my wine is worth this and you say, no, actually it's worth this, and you're in their castle and they're idiots, but you have to be nice?
How much?
You're in their castle.
The worst scenario, yes, I do a lot of also insurance claims. So
Oh, God.
some of these, masters of the universe with incredible wine collections, when they've had a problem and their wine has gotten cooked or destroyed, and I go in and I taste for damage, and I'm like, yeah, it's, the insurance company will pay for it, but they cry like they're losing a child. Wine is emotional.
Yeah.
But the worst thing happens when I go for another reason, and I have to tell them that one of their wines is fake.
Oh, because did you watch, what was the TV show with Ribisi? Did you watch that?
The knockoff
American
wine.
Greed? American Greed? I
No,
saw that.
Sneaky Pete.
Sneaky Pete.
Oh,
Did you watch Sneaky Pete?
no, I didn't see that.
They had a couple of episodes on the
Okay.
fake.
Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
We'll
Well,
DM you later.
I will. I'll check it out because there was a Netflix. I think you can see it on Netflix. Wait, I'm spacing on the name.
He's
Sour
on what
Grapes.
Netflix?
Sour Grapes is the documentary on Rudy Cornillon, who was a major forager who actually got arrested and is in jail right now.
What's his name?
Rudy Cornillon,
And he has the corona now because he's in jail.
possibly.
Uh-oh.
Karma's a bit.
So how often does that happen when you have to tell someone they have, like?
Sometimes we actually get hired to investigate. They actually say, I think my wine might not be real. So it's almost impossible to tell. You can cut the capsule of a high-end wine and see if the vintage on the cork is the same as the vintage on the label. Then you're like, okay, if it's different, it's fake. But then there's other ways of looking at labels and looking at what is expected and what's not expected. But unlike art or gold bars, you actually have to open the wine to taste what's in it, for sure. So you have to destroy it. So it is a lot of like supposition. But
So you
what
can
are
have
the
one authentic one, an authentic bottle, and then a case behind it that are all forged or fakes.
you can have anything. I mean, it can be anything. Also some fine and rare wines, for example, use different printers in the same vintage. So they might have two totally different labels, but they're both real.
Ah, okay.
There's a lot of stuff. Maureen's raising her hand.
Yes, and I'll go to a commercial break in a moment. But so is there a telltale, I know I'm asking you to encapsulate this. Are there one or two telltale signs that what you're purchasing is fake? Not at Trader Joe's, because I know they're authentic. I'm talking other places.
Yeah.
Let's just say that most counterfeiters will basically do the version like they counterfeit $100 bills, not dollar bills. Although Jacob's Creek Australian Shiraz, there was a Chinese, I think, company that counterfeited that, and they only caught it because they misspelled Australia on the back label.
I love it. I love it.
Most of these are like fine and rare, and people will take even a genuine bottle from a poor vintage and doctor it to look like it's from a good vintage.
But Jacob, the Shiraz from Australia are only like under $10 anyway, and you're counterfeiting that?
Well, they were trying to counterfeit. They counterfeit so many of them that and apparently there wasn't even like real wine in there. It was just like battery. It was horrible. And so if you're like, oh, I got a bad bottle, and you pour it down the drain because you wouldn't care because you only spent what, $9?
It's like a $3 chuck.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So counterfeit for the masses, eat with the classes. I never thought of it that way.
It's more rare. But
She's always coming up with a Marxist thing. What was it?
Yeah.
What did you just say?
You know how they say you work for the masses, eat with the classes, work for the classes, eat with the mass. It's the same thing with because who would think of counterfeiting cheap wine? But yes, numerically, you're going to pass off so much cheap wine and no one's going to report it.
Wow, that's a good point.
Very exciting during the pandemic with this one. Very exciting.
Oh, it's so crazy. That's
to
fun.
answer your question, Maureen, briefly, you want to make sure some things that I've noticed is that if it's an older wine, that the level is appropriate. In other words, we get the wines that we drink every day, the level should be high. Over time, it will evaporate slowly throughout the cork. So if you're drinking a wine from 1945 and the level is perfect, that's a little sketchy.
Oh.
Ah.
Look for glue trails, because people who have taken off a label and put on new labels, sometimes the glue from the old label is stuck there. So there's a couple things that you can kind of, there's many flags, but.
Let me look at my Trader Joe's reserve. It's a little low. I feel that somebody, maybe a tad, but I don't see any glue. All right, I'm good.
$12.99. I'm all over it.
Let me tell you, I'm surprised. I just like trying different things, and I drink a lot of red wine, so I'm trying to find things that you can open as a table wine, and if you don't finish it, or the Sicilian's
And
a
then you just
lightweight.
whip out your B.O.B.
Right, take a picture. We all have smartphones, right? If you like something, take a picture of
Yeah,
the.
I do. I know we spent a lot of time with you today. So I want to ask you one more question before we let you go, Wine Minx. But tell people how they can follow you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I am Wine Minx, M-I-N-X, on Facebook. And you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wine Minx Annie.
Wine Minx Annie, I would love for you to come back and we could talk about regions or different, like French wines, or more about the Spanish and Portuguese, Argentina, Chile.
I can talk about wine all day long. So I'm happy to hear it. Thank you.
The one thing I was going to ask you, and I'm not putting you on the spot, and I know that you're very knowledgeable, but have you heard about Franciacorta?
Oh yeah, la Franciacorta. It's closer to Champagne. It's amazing.
I know. So I don't like Prosecco. Keep your vats of sugar away from me. I'm sorry. I don't dig it.
We enjoy it. In the summer, we enjoy a nice cold bubbly.
There's some really good Proseccos out there. So I will tell you a couple to keep your eyes out for, but it's just a different grape variety and it's made in a different way. That's the main difference.
So
it's a different buzz. Let's be honest. It's a different buzz.
So you'll come back and we'll talk about that, right? But just a quick story. Well, I don't know how quick it is. A story about Franciacorta. My first friend in comedy, Kissy Dugan, who I met in New York City, married a guy from Rome, and he's a sommelier. And we were at just a great little, just a casual Italian restaurant in Rome. And he's so understated and such a gentleman. And he comes up, we start with the bubbles. I'm like, oh, Prosecco. And I take a sip. I go, oh, Marco, I really like this. I don't normally like Prosecco. Ah, oh, Maureen, it is not Prosecco. It is Franciacorta. I go, what? I don't know what this is. And you can get a bottle for $30 that tastes like a champagne that's like top. I didn't know that there was a champagne method bubbles in Italy. And is it from a particular region?
Yes, and actually the name of the region, because again, those old world countries love their place. So the region is Franciacorta. And Prosecco is actually the name of a place, but it's also a style. But Franciacorta is made from the same, basically the same grape varieties as Champagne, namely Chardonnay and Pinot Noir.
Love it.
There's some Pinot Blanc in Italy, and there's Pinot Meunier in France, but basically Chardonnay and Pinot Noir. And it's made in the traditional method, which is also known as the Champagne method. So it means that the wine spends time on the lees, or the dead cells of the yeast used to induce the bubbles. And that adds, people are like, ew, gross, but it's not gross. It's awesome because it adds that toasty, brioche, warm.
I love it.
Buttery bread things.
Now that's something I bring to people's homes as a hostess gift, because I think it's something that most people have never been exposed to, and they might want to try it. And I don't know. I like that.
I think that's real smart. And also it is like, even Veuve Clicquot Yellow Label, which everybody knows is champagne, and it's good, but there's other champagnes I love that are cheaper. But Franciacorta, you're even saving another $10, and it's the same gorge quality of a solid champagne.
Well, I'd love for you to come back, because I like to talk about like small market champagnes or sparkling wines, so near the Champagne region where you get really great values and it's not overly marketed like that friggin' white wine in Italy. What is that stuff that everybody buys that they think it's $20, $24?
Santa Margherita Pinot Grigio.
Santa Margherita. What a waste of friggin', I'm sorry. I'm like, are you kidding me? It was a nickel when I was there.
Yeah, it's not Santa Margherita's fault, but the thing is that Pinot Grigio, if you go into any bar in any country in the world, they'll have a Pinot Grigio because it's the most neutral. So
if they can keep it.
But really good Pinot Grigios are really good.
Well,
Really.
we'd like to try that. So will you come back and we'll talk about that stuff? I'd love to talk about champagne, sparkling wines, yes, I'd love for you to come back and also talk about like similar grapes have different names depending on where you're buying the wine. I think that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
So let's do that. And people can follow you at Wine Minx, M-I-N-X on Facebook, and they can follow you on other .coms at Wine Minx Annie. Annie Edgerton, thanks for being with us today. We appreciate it. And Bernie, now you'll hang out with me a couple more minutes, right?
Sure. Nice meeting you, Annie. Thank you for your
Annie,
insight.
thank you
We
so
love you,
much.
Annie.
I'm
Mwah.
gonna stalk Annie.
It was so much fun.
You'll come back. We're
It
going
was
to make this a regular
absolutely- I got
segment.
Lots of wine for you.
Thank you, darling.
And Annie, Bob would like to meet you in the flesh.
All right, Annie, we'll say goodbye for now. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
All right. You guys, this has been the
She was
longest.
Great.
Yeah, she was wonderful.
It's the longest segment I've ever done because we like wine.
I apologize. There was drinking involved as well.
Well, I asked the Sicilian, can you please bring me up a wine opener? Because I only had like this much in my glass. But no, did he?
Where
no.
is he?
He's
Where is he?
downstairs. He's in the basement. No, he's in his office, downstairs. But I should have just said it because he's watching this. I should have just said, Sicilian, bring me up a. You can bring it up now, Antonio.
Bonnie,
Maureen,
bring.
that's outrageous. You don't have to take that. You don't have to take that from him.
It's abuse.
Do you want me to drive you to a shelter?
Sometimes you just got to get into your paddle boat or your kayak
And run
go
away. Look, he's
Thanks for having us on
here.
your program. Can we
just
plug?
talk- Can we talk 5 more minutes?
Yeah, I want to plug something.
Oh,
Not
please,
you.
I want you to. That was crazy.
baby. You better cut that clip. That's a good clip.
I have a web series about 1950s detectives. We shoot it in black and white, and it's idiot detectives. It's called The Two Dicks. So check it out on
It's
YouTube
true.
or on Facebook. I had to get
He's
that
being
plug in.
truthful about it. It really is. It's two dicks. They're like, FBI.
Al
What do you-
Romas, comedian Al Romas, very funny comedian, is my co-host. Hey, there he is, Antonio.
Hi, Tony.
He hates
Bless
being on
you.
the .com.
Miss you, baby.
What am
love
I
it.
opening? He's a good guy. He brought it. I should have said it on the .com, and here I am, like, oh, you guys, I'm just gonna have a little more swig with you, and then we'll go. This is like live, you guys. This is insane. So the two dicks, it's true. It's really what he does, and you're also on. Tell them more.
Well, first of all, do not Google The Two Dicks because the images will freak you out. But if you go on YouTube, you can look for it. Again, 1950s moronic detectives with Al Romas and Al Ducharme.
Yes.
And we have 2 seasons. We have between 14 and 16 episodes, depending on if the last 2 really count. And then we're filming next week, brand new. He's in Tampa, Florida, and I'm in Los Angeles. And we're filming. It's not going to be a split screen. We're going to go back and forth, and we're going to film another episode. We were supposed to shoot an episode up by your way, in wine country.
Well, you
Had to
will. I
postpone
know.
that because of the pandemic.
I know, and it's two detectives, and it's very funny, and it's very. You're such a good performer, Al, and I'm really happy for your success on the Netflix show, F is for Family.
And season 4 of F is for Family is coming up over the summer. That's all I can say.
And tell people what role you play. Cheers.
I voice a few voices, but my main character is Anthony Bonfiglio, and he has big glasses, bigger than the ones that I have, and his tagline is,
You know what?
so he's annoying.
Do a
But
little
like-
more. Could you do a little more, just a little bit more before we go about do Anthony a little more?
And sleep.
He's weird, Mo. I don't know what to
I'm
tell
weird,
you.
Mo.
He's just weird. There's nothing you can
I'm
do.
Weird Mo. Next
Yeah.
on Weird Mo.
You
All
get
right,
what
so-
you get.
Or you guys, how about would you come back with the Wine Minx and we'll talk about more stuff?
I loved her. I want to hear. I want to go intern.
I want to marry. I want to marry
crazy.
Annie.
You wanna go into her?
Who's your stylist? I thought there was a
Yeah.
pandemic and it was 6 feet.
Yeah.
Did you see her? She was all done up.
I know.
I mean, whereas we had our makeup done by Roomba.
She's dead to us now because she looks better. No, I'm kidding. All right, you guys, I'm going to do a commercial break before we go. If
Maury,
you want
this
to,
was so fun.
well, you guys are awesome, but don't hang up till I say my commercial break. We have to go together. That's hurtful for me to
Okay.
be here alone. So that's hurtful. Please support the show. Tomorrow I have comic Peter Bales on. He's also has he has a PhD in history. Do you know that? And he's a history professor. Yeah. He's a history professor out on Long Island, See, I'm like such a New Yorker.
And a very funny comedian.
Very great comedian. And we're going to talk about funny history. It's going to be good times. And then on Friday, we do hell gigs with my comedy buddies, different people every Friday. This week, it's Buddy Fitzpatrick. And
I love him.
yeah, and Brian Scott McFadden.
Oh, that'll be a great episode.
Yeah, and then next week I have Monday, Regina DeChico. She is the warm-up for The View. And Marion Groden is going to join me on Tuesday.
Marion, yeah.
Daughter of Charles. She's so funny. And then the following week we have Lori Kilmartin, your good friend and our good friend.
Yes, Lori.
Writer for Conan. And we also have Kelly Carlin, daughter of George.
Oh, wow, that's awesome. Big dog lover from what I hear.
So we're the opening act to this big lineup you have. Well,
Absolutely. You're the opening act. But would you guys come back and we'll talk more wine, we'll talk bubbles, we'll talk different.
Sure.
Yes, we would love to.
All right, I'll love to you and love to the Sicilian who we adore.
And I'm sorry that our dogs are dead. I'm really
I know.
sorry.
Our hearts are broken. Our hearts are broken open for all of us. Right?
We're going on 3 months and it hurts, but we love them.
I know. Every time I think of, I know it's heartbreaking. And I always think of Maxie running up to the door, even if it's been 6 months, just she always knew where you guys were until her mind went and she went to your neighbor's house and I was flipped out. All right. My sister Ann says hello to you guys and she likes being
Hi, Ann.
Bye, Ann. Mwah.
All right. I love you guys. Thanks. This was a long segment, but thanks for being with us.
All right,
Cheers, Mom.
hopefully you'll gain people.
Thanks for having us, babe.
All right, you guys. PayPal, Mo Langan, and Venmo, Mo Langan. Bye, you guys. Mwah.
Bye.
Mom.